What's that? Could it be? It is! It's Hippo Balls, week one, coming to you live from the Hippo Den. Hippo is back. Football is back. It's the best time of the year, and I am ready, even though I'm on 4 hours of sleep. Drove back from Gainesville at 4 a.m., wanted to take a nap. I didn't. I've been writing just for you. I am miserable, but that doesn't matter because you want Hippo Balls and you get what you want. We'll start with college football roundup. I'm going to go quick on this, but there was a lot of great games. Texas, Michigan, 3-10. Texas dominated. Yours looks elite. Penn State Bowling Green. Penn State, number 8 in the country, almost lost 34-27. Notre Dame did lose to the Northern Illinois. The first time Northern Illinois has ever beat a top 10 team. Notre Dame, huge fraud, 16-14 final field goal last second. Good for Northern Illinois, good for their coach. He's like a fat, cockeyed, one eye looking this way, one eye looking that way. It looks like everyone, it's hard to not root for that guy. Good for him, good for Northern Illinois. Iowa State, Iowa. They always play well against each other. Tight game, usually very low scoring. 20-19, Iowa State wins. I forgot what they called that game. Iowa State beats Iowa. Iowa was 21 in the country. Miami dominated FAMU. Miami looks great so far, 56-9. Florida beats Samford 45-7. I was at that game in a box, no big deal. We'll talk about that. Alabama, number 4 in the country. Looks like they dominated USF. It was actually very close until like the last 3 minutes. They won 42-16. It was like 20-16 with 3 minutes left. UCF is 2-0. Nebraska dominated Colorado 28-10. Colorado, massive frauds. Dion, massive fraud. Colorado, not a good team. Shador walked off with like 3 minutes left. He's a loser. Dion down. Sanders family down. Colorado down. Warren Sapp on the coaching staff down. Oklahoma, number 15 in the country, almost lost to Houston. They were minus 27.5 favorites. They won 16-12, squeaked that out. Oregon, supposed to be a big title favorite. They're not looking so strong either. They did win. They beat Boise State. They were down most of the game. They won 37-34. They're number 7 in the country. They do not look like title contenders to me, but what do I know? We've had 2 NFL games so far this week. 2 NFL games. We had the Ravens and we had the Chiefs playing on Thursday night. Amazing game. I did fall asleep, but amazing game. And it was like the fourth quarter. I missed the end. Likely, almost caught a touchdown to tie it up with 0 seconds left. He had like half a pinky toe out. Awesome game. Looks like they're both going to be very good this year. Ravens 20, Chiefs 27. Did stay up for the full Packers-Eagles game on Friday night in Brazil. That was also a fun game. Eagles 34, Packers 29. Saquon looks like a league winner. Eagles look pretty good. I did not expect Saquon to be that good. Also, Jordan Love, big injury. Looked like he was going to be out for season on the last play of the game. He tweaked something. Turns out it looks like it's just MCL. We'll get more on the injury report later. Moving on, we've had a lot to talk about in the offseason. Unfortunately, there's no Hippo Balls. Hippo does need to rest some, but it was great news stories. We had Kate Middleton being possibly dead. She still hasn't done a lot. Still very weird, the Kate Middleton story. We had Bennifer. Bennifer's done. Ben and J-Lo broke up. Drake Kendrick, huge beef. Would have loved to talk about that on Hippo Balls. Trump almost got shot. Civil war almost happened. Biden rapidly declined and got forced out by Pelosi, the Don Dada. Kamala was installed with no primary. We got Kamala v. Trump. A lot coming up with that. Anyways, let's start off with who's back. The U is back. Unfortunately, Cam Ward looks like that paid off that investment. They spent a lot of money on their roster, and it looks like the money is being spent well. The U has dominated the first 2 weeks. They got some swagger back. They look pretty elite. Next up on who's back, we got Chill Lib Trump. In the past 2 weeks, he says abortion's whatever. Like, yeah, we should definitely have some abortion, maybe a lot of abortion. It's whatever to me. He also said that weed should be legal, and he's pushing for legal weed in Florida. Definitely trying to get more moderates involved. Next up, we got diseases. Diseases are back. Syphilis is at its highest level since 1950s. Syphilis is an STD you can get. So wrap up, or don't. Just don't get syphilis, which is allegedly bad. Not good for you. Next, we got bird flu. Bird flu, another disease. Bird flu has been found in a person in Missouri what's bad is it's the first person who had no contact with animals who got it. So it's like transmitted from person to person, which is not good for any of us. If bird flu is being transmitted just from random guy to random guy, usually it's from like cow or chicken to guy. And that's usually how it happens. So this is the first infection in the U.S. of someone who just got it without being a guy who works with livestock or chicken. Not good for us. Also, we're preparing for the arrival of monkeypox. Monkeypox has been spreading around Africa. Also, I think some gays have got it, but now everyone has to worry about monkeypox. Not good. Next up on Who's Back, we got foreign election interference. Whenever there is election, especially these days with AI and the internet, you got to worry about foreign election interference, and they're always out there. Now we have Russian operatives covertly hired U.S. influencers to create videos. Federal officials charged two employees of RT, which is the Russian state media broadcaster, in a scheme to secretly fund and direct the production of social media videos that racked up millions of views. Using right-wing American influencers, mainly from Tenant Media, which is based in Nashville. And they were founded by Lauren Chen and her husband Liam Donovan, who are considered conservatives, and she hosts a show on Glenn Beck's Blaze TV and contributes to alt-right Turning Point USA. Tenant Media also has Tim Pool, who's pretty alt-right, Benny Johnson as well. So that's crazy, of course. They're always saying that Russia's, intermingling, and Putin. Turns out they're using right-wing people to push Russian stuff. Next, we have China also pushing divisive political messaging online using fake U.S. voters. So they're pretending to be voters who are upset about something online using AI in a Chinese Operation Spamiflage. And this is mostly on TikTok, where they're pretending to be an American voter, whether Democrat or Republican, and they're pretending to be upset about something. I don't really know what their end game is. They just want confusion and hysteria, I guess. Don't know. Who's dead? Who's dead? The WNBA is dead, unfortunately. Likely rookie of the year and superstar, loved by everyone, Angel Reese is out for the season with a wrist injury. She has 26 double-doubles, second most in a season in WNBA history. Of course, she would have shattered the record if she was able to continue playing. Fans, plural, of the WNBA are sad, of course. She was by far the best player playing in the league. I can't name anyone else who's even close. Next up on Who's Dead, FSU, unfortunately. FSU, I bought a box for football this year, and we have been horrendous. Turns out that me buying boxes is a death wish and a mush. Just like my betting, I bought a box for basketball last year, and they were horrible. This year I bought a box for football. Nima's begging me to stop going to FSU sporting events. They lost to Boston College so far. They lost to Georgia Tech. Both teams are supposed to be very average at best, and we were supposed to be good. Turns out we're not. DJ Ugalali is horrific. Should have spent like $10 more and got Cam Ward. DJ was bad for every other school. I don't know why they thought he was going to be good this time. Sucks. Hopefully they can turn it around somehow, but doesn't seem so. Next up on Who's Dead, Democracy Dan. Democracy Dan has been pretty absent. We got an election coming up here right around the corner, and we have not had a lot of Democracy Dan. The country is at a boiling point with a coin flip election, and he's basically in hiding. Democracy Dan, we need you now more than ever. Lastly, on Who's Dead, we have anyone eating boar's head ready to eat liverwurst. 9 dead, listeria outbreak. So anyone who eats ready to eat liverwurst from boar's head, you're dead. Who's not back but not dead? Hot dog eating superstars. Hot dog eating superstars on Labor Day. We had a Netflix live event, Joey Chestnut versus Kobayashi. For the first time in 15 years, they face off against each other for many reasons. Kobayashi had previously said he was retired. He came back out of retirement to do this Netflix special. Joey Chestnut wiped the floor with him. Kobayashi's been washed. Joey Chestnut, 83 hot dogs in 10 minutes. Kobayashi, 66 in 10 minutes. Still great, but nowhere. The odds were, of course, Joey Chestnut was going to win, but it was nice to see them together. It's also kind of sad. It's the end of the road, I think, for hot dog eating in general. It feels like the end of poker. When we all used to watch poker and there was like Chris Moneymaker, and it was a thing. I think hot dogs are on the way of poker. Sad to see it. I guess good for Joey Chestnut, good for America, but yes and no. Who's not back but not dead? We got the Gators. Went to the game last night. Was in the box. Ben Hill Griffin box, no big deal. And they look good. They played Samford, so nothing too special. But DJ Lagway looks a lot better. The Graham Merritts, I have some hope for them. They're not the U, but they're also not dead. Next on Who's Not Back But Not Dead, we got Abe Lincoln. Abe Lincoln. Pretty good president, but also pretty gay. Pretty gay. It turns out he shared a bed with a guy for 4 years, which is pretty gay. And he became suicidal when his best friend, Joshua Speed, moved out. So I would assume in 2024 he'd be super duper gay. But back then, of course, not as socially acceptable. So he had to share a bed with some guy and not tell anyone about it. Abe Lincoln, not back but not dead. Still a pretty good president. Lastly, we got Dick Cheney and Mike Pence. Dick Cheney came out and said he's voting for Kamala Harris. And Mike Pence came out and said he's not voting for Trump. The enemy of my enemy is my friend, I guess. So those two guys are not back but not dead. Lastly, we have Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden, in a surprise move, flipped birds to the judge and pleaded guilty to tax charges. Last second, the prosecutors assumed that he was going to say not guilty. He said guilty. He said, fuck it. Take me away. No plea deal either. Just said, I'm guilty. So he's not back but not dead. I'm sure they're not going to hammer him too hard. But now that Biden's not going to be president, I guess it's not as big of a deal. Fact of the day. I was looking up something. It's not a story, but Selena Gomez, a billionaire. It's very surprising to me. She's a billionaire somehow from like a makeup line. Selena Gomez did not think she'd be a billionaire. Show of the week. Show of the week. Clipped on Hulu and FX. I just finished it. Is it good? Not really. Is it bad though? No. Lawrence Fishburne plays Doc Rivers. There's a couple other people in it. The guy from Married with Children and what's that other popular show? Whatever. He plays Donald Sterling. I liked it. Decent show. Picks of the week. Parlay. Dolphins minus 2.5. Over 44.5. Plus 120. I like that. I think the Dolphins win. They're at minus 3.5 now. I don't love that. I do think it's going to be high scoring. Dolphins secondary super banged up. Jags defense not that good. It's going to be a shootout. I like the over even without buying it down, but I like it especially buying it down like that. Like Seahawks minus 6 at the versus the Broncos. Seahawks at home. I like Bo Nix. I think the Broncos are going to be fine. I think it's his first game. I do like Kenneth Walker. I like the Seahawks. Think they're going to be good today. Give me the Raiders plus 3 at Chargers. Gardner Minshew. Chargers are banged up. Herbert's got that like plantar fasciitis thing going on. There's no wide receivers anymore. Feels like it's going to be a weird Chargers year. Herbert's kind of they got no wide receivers. Keenan Allen's gone. They got Gus Bus at running back. I like Gardner Minshew. I like the Raiders. Give me that money line and plus 3. And then Bengals, New England. Both those teams are going to stink. Jamar Chase may be playing. I don't know. T. Higgins out. New England has nobody. Under 41 there. Highlights of the draft. Draft was a fun time. Great time? It was okay. We had an okay dinner. Not good, mostly. Good seeing everyone, of course. We went out to some bars after. So. We were going to go to have even more fun at whatever that place was called. But Nima had to diarrhea, which that stunk. Kind of killed it. But we went to Gabe's house. That was a good time. That was highlight probably. Draft the next day at 10 a.m. at the brewery because Danny's mom singing the national anthem. So, I guess. We need to have a better draft next year. Destination draft next year. I like that. Anyways, that's the first week of Hippo Balls on No Sleep. There will be more fun ahead. I'll think of some more segments. But let's throw it over to Navid for the injury report. Navid, tell us what's up.